Dear Twin Flame souls out there, welcome to the Twin Flame Awakening Journey podcast, and today is in episode 141. Also, another awakened souls who have experienced whether a Kundalini awakening or something strange in their life. This might be the episode for you to get some clarity on what is actually happening to you. I've been promising this quite some time already to talk about the Kundalini, the life force energy, the energy that is going to change and shift you, and why is it also powerful on Twin Flame journey and on your awakening journey. Although when the Kundalini starts rising, you are going to feel a lot of things in your body, in your mind, in your reality, in the world around you. And that's why it's sometimes very scary, because we don't understand what is happening to us. We have no idea why on earth all of a sudden I feel these intense feelings. I feel like I'm going crazy. I can't handle myself. And it's a very scary place to be in. And I will explain how Kundalini works, what happens to your nervous system, because they are working together. And we have to understand that if you wish to have a change, and I hear this so often where people come to me and they say, I want a change in my life. I want to feel love. I want to heal. I want to let go of the trauma. I want to let go of this. I want to feel happiness. I want, let's say, more money. I would like to have better life. I would like to be surrounded. But it's all about, in a sense, of mental process. And what is the illusion of wanting to change, an energetic change? And I've spoken so much about this on my previous episodes, how if you wish to attract love, abundance, life, like anything you dream of, you need to have an energetic change. The mental change will never happen. And that's why when Kundalini rises, we can see how we change and shift. Many of us can stop drinking alcohol. Many of us can stop drinking coffee or any other things they were used to. Many of us can feel that they no longer want to eat meat, for example, or they feel that the old life they used to live no longer resonates with them at all. Or the things they used to, let's say, like sugar, or they had difficulties to lose weight, or they had difficulties to start exercising, and all of a sudden their body just starts to do this automatically. They start receiving, also those who are on Twin Flame journey, they start receiving messages from their twin, they start receiving love, people are starting to give compliments, and it's all on an energetic change. So when we think of this, I want to have a change. And this is a very important part why I talk about it, because we often want change. But we have to realize that with change comes a big shift. If you are energetically shifting, you are going to feel it. Although, I'm going to say that once the Kundalini has risen and cleaned you from these old beliefs, which we talk about it in the nervous system, it is more natural and it's not as intense. It's actually beautiful and an embodiment, and it's all very wonderful. That's why I also repeat very often that please continue with your practice. Have your once-a-month session where you, your facilitator will activate the Kundalini for you. Like, not activating, but it's more about bringing that. It's like, I don't know, let's say you're thirsty and you drink more, or you're adding more vitamins into your system. It's a very profound and powerful energy. And I'm not here to sell that energy, not at all. Because one of the things I've always said, Kundalini is so intelligent that those who are ready, and most probably as you are listening to this podcast, your Kundalini has already brought you here. You might not even don't know why you are listening what I'm saying. You might not even understand what I'm saying, but your soul and the Kundalini does. And this is why I say that this energy never needs like explanation. But I'm just in that process right now. I'm explaining as for some of you, and I wish somehow that someone would have come into me on that moment and saying to me, your twin flame activated your Kundalini because you were ready for it. And that's something I really wish you would hear. Your twin flame activated your Kundalini because you were ready. Not because not because of them or anybody else. Your soul was ready. The same way you are listening to this podcast today here, because you are ready for that shift and change. It's not an accident. It's not something you control. It's not something you blame. It's not something where you go maybe a little bit into victim mindset of saying why this is happening to me. Although I have here like a big sympathy, because I know when I went through of that, where the illusion, the house of cards, started to fall apart while the Kundalini was rising, and it is very scary. But when we think of the change, we need to surrender into the idea that if you wish to have a change, there is a shift. And sometimes the shift can be quite traumatic, meaning of you're going to be taken out from your old belief system, old ways of living. And if you are used to that, it can be very hard. So why I'm talking about it, when we think of like the illusion of wanting, the same way wanting of, I want my twin flame to come back. I want to feel whole. I want to feel this. I want to say one more thing. You are extremely powerful if you are in alignment. Every thought, everything you think of, you manifest. But you have to be careful of your thoughts. And you also have to be careful of when you say, let's say, I want a new job. It will happen. But it might not happen the way you were expecting. And that's another beauty of Kundalini. There is no expectation. For example, you will think, I want to have a new job. Or often on this journey we would ask, I want to find my purpose. You ask for it. You will get it. But maybe your purpose will come through a challenge. Maybe your purpose will put you into the place that you weren't ready for it and you feel like, why is it punishing me? But it's actually not punishing. It's showing you that if you want to be in purpose, you need to embody and relive it. And then you can be on your purpose, because that's what opens up. If you haven't experienced it, you wouldn't know. And this is why I often talk about schooling. I say, for people when they say, I want to start a business, and they go to business school and learn over there. And I'm like, yeah, it's all good on the books. On the books, it's very good. We can all read from the books. But for you to know how to really run a business, you need to do it. You need to experience. Because books will not, they give you the foundation, maybe, but in reality, life is not based on books, what we learn. And this is why I often say why it's so important for you to realize if something is happening, something is teaching you something. It's not here to punish you, it's here to open you. And I know sometimes we feel like it's punishment. Absolutely. So go back to the change, because Kundalini brings the change. Kundalini puts you on the path. But it's not something you control. And this is another reason why I love this energy. Because we are so much in a mind where we try to control our actions. We try to control what we say. We try to control who we are. So we have put ourselves into the jail. Into the complete jail. Gonna be very honest here. I had done the same to myself. And that's the reason I talk about it today. But wanting is a mental process. So if you want to change, it's a mental process. And it exists in the realm of thinking brain, neocortex, our neocortex brain, part of it. So today I am going to talk about the brain, the vagus nerve, the parasympathetic, all of this, because I know many of you have the questions. And when it exists in the neocortex part of it, it can create desire and intention, but it cannot create the real transformation on its own. So the same comes down to the manifestation and things like that, where I talk about the fact of you can repeat one thing millions and millions of times. If it hasn't changed energetically, and if it's not in your heart, nothing is going to happen. That's because trauma, old patterns, and conditioning aren't stored in a conscious mind. So the conscious mind is what we are using to think. Say, I'm going to shop now, I'm going to listen to this podcast, I'm going to leave a comment, I'm going to leave a like. It would help a lot of this podcast, of course. But the subconscious, they are existing in a subconscious. Limbic brain, the body, why I talk about the trauma release exercise often. And also in Kundalini, why it makes you to shake, tremble, why do you have like this kind of, or you can even vomit, or you can scream, because it exists in your body. The nervous system, through fight, flight, and freeze patterns, it's in your nervous system, and your energetic field, auric imprints, chakras, all of this. So now, in order to have the shift and change, like for example, let's say this is why you can journal, affirm, and talk about healing for years and still feel stuck. The mind says yes. The mind is like, yes, that's what it is. But the body and energy are like, no. And here I just wanted that you pause for a moment, and I'm sure you had situations in your life where you are somewhere and somebody talks to you something. Let's say somebody says, I can bring your business to the next level, or I can help you to heal, or I am this, I am that. And you're sitting there and you're hearing them. But your body tells you completely different, says, no, that's not true. No, that's not real. That's not what's happening. And that's a very interesting part when you experience this. That means you are in tune with your body. Your body is very intelligent. Once again, you need to take care of your body. And that's the reason I talk about Kundalini and Kundalini Yoga. I will talk about them in the future episode. And I just actually really want you to, if you have any questions about it, put them in the comment or write me a message and I will talk about it. I will explain you in a as soft way as I can, because I always say to people, but you want to be young, you want to be healthy, you want to be loved, you want to feel that you are driving in your body, that the abundance comes to you. And believe me, in this world there is enough abundance for all of us. All of us. Even though, as we can see, 1% wealth has gone into someone's hands. But that means actually there is enough for everybody. But why do they attract? What is the reason over there? We're not going to get into that, but I just want to say there is enough abundance. Look at the universe. Look at the world. When the apple tree gives apples, there's a lot. There's plenty. Each one of from the village can have at least 1 or 2 apples. Or if there are berries growing in the forest, there is a plenty for all of us. If you believe that there isn't, then there is something with that. And so we go from here. But that's why I say you can repeat as many times as you want. And that's why the so-called manifestation pages, which I see, and they say affirm this, say yes, and all of that, which is beneficial from the beginning. But now if we wish to see this change, we do need to change it energetically. And now I talk about the Kundalini, the energy that forces the real change inside of you. So number one thing with Kundalini, it doesn't care what you want or what you don't want. It's not here to come and ask you, oh, you want this way. it works at the energetic level, and it's actually targeting blockages that are stored in your nervous system and your energy body. And I want to, as a facilitator of this energy, I want to say one thing. Kundalini is not something we force. Kundalini is not something we play around with. Kundalini is not something we, how do I say, we abuse in that sense. Although we could never do that because it's very, very intelligent. It's so much more intelligent. It makes me humble to the ground. I honestly say that. I'm not going to say that I kiss the ground every day, but I pretty much do. It humbles you to realize that there's something very divine. And so if we see on social media or places like that, that let's say some Kundalini facilitators or some people who work with that have got a little bit of a spiritual ego of feeling, I do this, I'll show you how the magic comes to your life. I am the one. And every time I'm like, take a deep breath in. You have an honor to facilitate this energy and help another person to embody this energy. But it's not you. The same with me. I'm here as a facilitator who helps you. Like, think of this a little bit like your twin is your life coach. I am the one who facilitates this energy. So, and this is why it is so powerful energy, because it doesn't require belief, only surrender. And we often talk about on this twin flame journey, you need to surrender. You need to surrender. Once you surrender, your twin flame will return. But again, hear what we hear. What is happening? We're hearing the words. Okay, I'm going to surrender. I remember myself when I went through that I couldn't get up anymore. And that was the moment of surrendering. That was the moment where I was like, but I can't do anything anymore. I have no energy left to fight the flight. So when the Kundalini rises, it floods your system with a high frequency prana, life force. That's why I call it energy activation or life force energy or even love force energy. Because Kundalini opens your heart. It goes from these lower 3 chakras into your heart. And once the heart is open, just to say that your heart is 60 times more powerful than your brain. And this activates, when it goes, the prana goes through you, it activates the deep layers, old trauma, and that's why I'm also going to say again, when people are having, let's say, they're coming to my session or they have gone to a facilitator session or they're Kundalini activated through the twin flame or anything, and they can have this lot of old trauma coming up, emotionals coming up, your energetic imprint starts to dissolve, your nervous system starts to rewire, and we talk about the nervous system together, and it can be scary. And here is why I also say, please try to find a person you connect to, the person you know you can trust, and you feel the trust in between. That's very, very important. Although I'm gonna repeat again what I said before. If you are ending up somewhere where they use Kundalini or like this energy, prana force, life force energy, whether it's through Kundalini yoga, whether it's through breath work, whether it is the facilitators, wherever you end up, your soul knew it has to be there. You are absolutely ready for it. The same way like you met your twin flame, your soul knew it's ready for it. It's not here to punish you at all, but it's punishing, of course, your nervous system. And that's why we can't control this mentally. And that's why I love it. I used to be so much in my head. I used to think that I can control this, I can control that. I had every single plan ready. And that's why I love the saying that you make plans and the God is laughing at you. How many times you have been on this journey where you are thinking of, oh, I'm gonna do this and it's gonna happen tomorrow. I have the feeling it's gonna happen tomorrow. I know, I have that feeling. And then it doesn't happen. And then you are like, but why did I have that feeling? Because you didn't surrender into that. You will keep on repeating. So that's why I say, when you are in the session, both on inner dance, Kundalini, holotropic breathwork, I love this because we don't use any substances. I'm not against mushrooms, I'm not against ayahuasca, all of this is great. But what for me, how I see it, is that we are extremely powerful. And again, my podcast, my workshops, everything is here to give you the power that you unlock yourself. I'll show you the way, but you unlock yourself. And that's why it has to be surrendered to. And surrender allows your system to recognize around higher coherence, not through thought, but through frequency alignment. And I've spoken a lot about that. So what happens if we change? So the body's memory is stored in the nervous system. We know that. So the body keeps the score. Your nervous system remembers everything. Every heartbreak, every rejection, every fear, and every trauma. And sometimes you don't even know that you have this in your body. And these aren't stored as thoughts. They're like energetic imprints. And that's why I often say to people, we cannot bring the shift and change if you don't change that energetically. And I know that this is why I say it's a special episode for the fact of those who are interested of this. Because for many people, if I keep on repeating about the energy shift, they will be like, I don't get it, I don't understand, I don't care. And that's fine too, absolutely fine. But trying to think your way out of trauma or out of fear doesn't work, because it isn't in your thoughts. It's in your body's automatic reactions. Like freezing, overthinking, collapsing, not knowing what to do. When someone says to you some word, your system starts to overact. But Kundalini accesses these memories directly through the spine and nerves and starts to cause spontaneous release, shaking or heat or cold, and the energy dismantles in these times. That's why also when we see at the activations, sometimes we see that some of you are shaking a lot. Some of you are not shaking at all. Some of you feel nothing. But it doesn't mean that the energy doesn't work. Often, I have very two different situations. Sometimes I feel my body shaking from top to bottom, and it's a bit like an epilepsy. Another time I am so deep somewhere that when I come back, I don't even understand what is the reality. So just to say that this is very normal, and that's why maybe for some of you it's a one session and changes their life, one time meeting their twin flame and changing their life. But also when we have this very, very intense, I'll get to this, all of that, when your twin flame activates inside of you, we need to know how to little bit to calm down, and there are ways of doing it. So now we go into your vagus nerve and heart-brain connection. Joe Dispenza speaks a lot about heart-brain connection. And you might be often wondering also, like, what's the deal in between twin flames and, let's say, meditation and Kundalini energy and changing your brain-heart coherence, and what's all in common? They are all a one energy. And then one of the things that when your twin flame came to your life, it came to teach you that there is no separation. Literally, that's the one of the thing. That's why you're having, because Kundalini is also one of the things that's going to teach you that there's no separation. So what has happened to vagus nerve is the superhighway between your brain, heart, gut, and body. And it controls your emotional regulation, rest, digestion, and everything. And when you shift energetically, you enter into parasympathetic state. That's what I speak about it. When you let it to happen, you start feeling calm and peace. You feel safe to expand. You start to have a trust. So many of you are saying, but I don't have a trust. I don't have this. I don't know how to trust. I'm going to say myself included. I couldn't trust anybody that they're going to do things for me. And sometimes I would hear the person says to me, yes, I'll do that to you. And then they never did. And it brought me up like this fear. And I had to do by myself. But when that change, you start to understand the trust, like the energy you feel. If I have a feeling with this person, you start to open, you start to receive. And thinking cannot do this. Only energetic surrender. And I repeat that because it's like, like in school, we have to repeat certain things to remember and to like a certain way understand. And that's one of the things. So once the Kundalini rises, your electromagnetic field, your aura, some of you may are able to see the auras already. And chakras, they radiate energy that influences your cells, immune system, and brainwaves. Again, I'm not making this up, but you become younger. You will become younger when you are activated with Kundalini energy. You become more vital. Even for me, my biological age can be... I'm not the biggest fan because I believe that our soul has the age, like however old. But I have 10 years difference of my biological and my chronological age. 10 years difference, and it goes younger and younger and younger. And I'm not making this up, and I'm not here to sell that. What I'm telling you, it is there that improves your cells, your immune system, and brain waves. And this isn't like a woo-woo kind of a thing that I am coming up. It's physics. Because the heart's field alone is 60 times stronger electrical than the brain. And when the Kundalini clears blocks in your energy field, your biology changes, your immune system strengthens, your hormones rebalance, and your frequency of attraction changes. That's why life looks very, very different after a Kundalini awakening. You are not just thinking no longer differently. You are the vibration of difference. But you can have before that. You can have health issues when it's clearing. And that's another wrong mindset we often have. We think that, for example, let's say you lose your voice, or you have some stomach problem, or you have something in your body, let's say something happens there, that in the medical field can be very terrible diagnosis. We will think, oh, you see, that's it, that's finished. I'm going to tell you one thing that kills you faster than anything else is the diagnosis. The moment you get diagnosis of anything, and there's a study of that, you go faster than anything else. Why? Because you believe that. You don't trust your body to cleanse, to clear, to purify. What you step into fear. Oh, that's what I have. That's who I am, and that's where I'm going to die for. And the way we think, the way we are in vibrating is very, very fast. Why I'm talking about this, I don't want to go medical. But what I'm saying is, when you have some shift in your body happening right now, whether you turn sick, something happened, ask your body, what is the body trying to release? What is the block or what you are not receiving? Speak to your body. we're not going into that today, because that will definitely be the episode that I'm putting into a membership, because that will bring out a lot of, how do I say, Western medicine kind of would go against it. But it might help some of you. And now we're going to go into the nervous system. But I also want to say, you don't make Kundalini rise. It's another thing of what we have to realize. It's not something we force. You surrender into that. You're going to start feeling the energy. If you come with an idea, oh, I'm going to now shift, I'm now going to make, I'm now going to be, you're going to lose that game. In the same way, like when some of you are wondering of twin flame union or something to happen, if you are in a state, now I'm going to do this, now I'm going to be this, and you're not coming to the present moment to surrender, nothing's going to happen. You don't force healing, you allow it to happen. It's not something I have to do more, I have to do more, I have to do more. You don't chase the enlightenment, you open to it, you become it. And why? Because surrender puts the nervous system into receptive state. When you stop racing, controlling, and fighting, the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest, activates. And this is where the deepest healing can happen. Why on retreats we do quite a lot of sessions of Kundalini activations and other trauma release exercises and everything. And we do that, like it's intense in that sense. It is intense for the body. But that's where the shift can happen. And when the nervous system feels safe, the energetic shift can anchor into the body. And I'm going to also repeat one more thing who are listening. When I would have heard these things, when I was going through that enormous shift and change, I would have said, just take away from me. I don't want this. I don't want this anymore. Like it's nearly killing me. But today I understand the importance of getting my mind finally shut down. That's why when my assistant, she says, it's difficult to live with you because you are just like wandering around. You're doing when you're feeling it. You're not pushing, you're not, and I'm like, yes, because I spent a lot of time of my life controlling. And thanks to this energy, I learned that I attract who I am. I trust myself. I open my heart when it's ready. And if it's meant to be this way, it's meant to be this way. And if it's not as well. But I'm not pushing, I'm not forcing, I'm not asking. I'm just here as it is. So why, and now let's go into the effect of your nervous system. So what happens to your body? So what can happen when the Kundalini gets activated, whether it's through twin flame, whether it's through facilitator, whether it's through somatic experience, whether it's some trauma release, anything, because Kundalini can activate in a very different ways. And so it is a very strong energy. So it's like plugging a 1,000-watt current into a system that calibrated for 100 watts. So you understand, you're putting a very, very strong energy all of a sudden through your body. And that's now here where we can have that issue of not feeling safe in our own body. You can have a racing heart or palpitation, adrenaline spikes or panic. Your pupils can become bigger and you can have trembling, muscle twitching, insomnia, restlessness, feeling like you are in danger with no cause, like you feel, oh my God, I have nothing to breathe here. And this is somehow it's a very fast shift. That's another thing I'm saying. Kundalini brings the fast shift. But your body might not be fully ready for it. And so when this happens, and I say again, the vagus nerve is the nerves inside of you. And your vagus nerve controls your heart rate, your digestion, your everything. And when your Kundalini moves upward through the body, it starts to stimulate this vagus nerve, particularly in the chest, throat, and head. So that's the chakras that actually Kundalini awakens. Just to remind you, most of us have our lower chakras blocked: root, sacral, and the solar. These are our 3 chakras that are often blocked, and we don't get to the heart. There's a rib cage, and somehow it's protecting the heart. But Kundalini is the powerful one that goes through that. And that's why we can feel actually waves of tears and emotions, and so much is happening. It's the heart chakra activation. That's why so many of you are asking me, I am crying uncontrollably. It never stops. I can sit in my car, I cry. I go to shower, I cry. I'm doing something and I can just cry and cry and cry. When it will stop? And I'm saying to them that let it happen. You have to cry as much as you can. You can have shakiness or nausea. It's the solar plexus. You can really shake a lot in your body, like you have full kriyas that are going through, and you don't want to eat, and you feel sick, and you nothing tastes good anymore, and a lot of changes in your diet. You can have lumps in your throat or loss of voice completely. Your throat chakra is clearing. And here is something I just said before. When something happens to us, let's say so-called medically, we lose the voice, or we have a headache, or we have some lumps or something somewhere, all of a sudden came up, or you have a rush, or you have something. We often think there is something wrong with me. I just want to say to you something. Look at this, that something is clearing. For example, you eat the bad food. Let's say you eat the bad food. What your body is doing immediately tries to get it out from you. Vomiting it out, or you have a diarrhea or something. Because your body knows that's not good for me. I don't want that. I'm going to now work on myself to get rid of it. And same with every other thing. But you need to listen to your body. I mentioned in my last podcast that people, the number one cause of dying is the heart disease. And that comes from because our heart we don't live from the heart. We live from the mind. And your heart cannot handle this forever. So now there is also central nervous system. So meaning of brain and spinal cord, they're connected. And when Kundalini rises, it gets the full rewiring. And especially for those who have some kind of a trauma, fear, identity, or attachment. So you might start feeling very disoriented, confused, or like parts of your personality is completely gone. And that's a weird place to be in. But I remember I was at a charity event, and I used to love these events. I used to love sitting with people, talking. And I remember I was sitting there, and I could hear people talking. I could see them. I see the whole thing, but I don't understand anything. It was like my soul was already somewhere else, but my physical body was there. And it was a very spooky experience because I was just sitting there and thinking, who am I? Why am I here? What is the point of that? Then, of course, when we rewire through the Kundalini, the our nervous system, all thoughts and memories can surface, release. So, which means, I have said that so many times, you're kind of going to relive again that trauma. And that's one of the reasons why many people stop. Because they say, I don't want to feel this anymore. But here I'm going to say, once you relive that and you let it out, like the Kundalini is able to rewire that, you'll never feel this again. So you have to surrender. And it's intense. I totally get it. It's intense. It's not easy at all. But why I'm doing today's podcast is to give you an understanding that all of these physical things and all of these things that are happening are not happening against you. They're actually putting you, when I started talking about the change, you wish to have the change. You wish to feel that love. You wish to be the magnet. You wish to be younger, stronger, healthier. You want to live this life. You don't want to live in a fear. So the limbic system overdrive, now again, the hippocampus and hypothalamus, which cover an emotional memory of the fear response, it lights up intensely during awakening. And that's why you relive the trauma, you cry, you feel extreme love or terror, you feel things that are a lot. And the pineal gland, your third eye, activates and might start producing DMT. And that's why I say about why I love Kundalini, whether it's Kundalini, breathwork, or inner dance. We know that today we already know, scientists there were saying that a sound is healing. We already know that. And inner dance, what Pi is doing. By the way, if any of you want to have a Pi Villarazza's book, I don't know how many are left, but it's 50 euros. And you can order through me. I will ask a person to send you. Because Pi is, all of this will go for the donation to help people in the United States who are in a prison to rewire their brain. That, again, we're going to have a world of kindness and love, meaning of whoever wants to have it, all of them, because they're going with a program into United States in the prisons to rewire the brains through Pi's incredible healing and sound method. So whoever is interested, you can write to me that, yes, I would like to have a Pi Villarazza's book. He talks about the inner dance, how it happened to him. I will put a couple of snippets on Instagram that you can see what it means when we really undergo a big transformation. And so the DMT starts to inner visions, time distortion, connecting to the guides. You start hearing things, you start feeling things. There's a lot of things. And that's the reason I really, really, really love this energy. Because it's not based on that we need to take something. Another day I was listening how we humans, our consciousness became evolved. And do any of you know that our brains were very, very small actually, and the reason our consciousness evolved was because of the mushrooms. We started eating mushrooms, and as we know, mushrooms there are magic mushrooms and there are all kinds of mushrooms, but it opened up our consciousness more. And now we are in the next evolution of the consciousness, where technology is here to give us information, but we need to embody the energy. And that's another reason of my workshops, of what I do. As I know that you have all the powers. You have absolutely all the powers. You're so powerful. But when you go through that roller coaster, it's difficult. So then of course, the Kundalini opens your chakras. So for example, just to bring it in, root chakra is what gland of yours is connected is adrenal, and meaning the effect is adrenaline, fear, grounding issue. If you are experiencing any fear, You feel that in your root. And that's why I always say that when we have a fear inside of us, it's from the root. And so in order to heal, we need to go into the root first. We can't go into the third eye or throat chakra. We start with a fear. And that's why it feels very, very difficult, because it's adrenaline that starts to be produced. And what happens when the adrenaline is produced? We feel restless, we feel anxiety, we feel I cannot sleep, insomnia. All of this starts to happen. You don't know how to ground yourself. I'm going to say, when this is happening, when the Kundalini is rising, it's very normal. You need to let this to happen. Breathe through that. Have yourself the sessions that will help you. Don't panic. It's healing. Your sacral chakra is ovaries and testes, like for men. It's the sexual energy, shame release, and creativity. If these are blocked, and we have so many blocks around sexual energy, and it includes men and women. One of the things is pornography, which has terribly, terribly blocked people's sexual energy. Get rid of this as soon as you want. If you would like to have abundance, if you would like to have something in your life, get rid of this. You don't need that. And of course, if you have that, for example, someone has ever said to you, or you had negative sexual experience, all of that, it needs to be healed and transformed. Your solar plexus is connected to pancreas. It's about your power, digestion, emotional heat. So if you can't handle your emotions, or you see that someone is very quickly like, it's not me who did that, quickly, they have the solar plexus. It's an ego, connected to ego. Then your heart, immune regulations, and unconditional love, and which I say to you often. I said that the number one reasons why people dying is heart disease. And if you wish to be healthy, happy, connected, it's your heart chakra. And the one who can do that is the Kundalini energy. Whether you have that through facilitation, whether you do the Kundalini yoga, whether you do the Kundalini heart meditation activations, anything, but that's where it starts. Your throat is connected to thyroid, of course, communication, voice, and metabolism. So if you see that there are any issues on these glands, thyroid, pancreas, ovaries, all of that, it shows you that there has to be a release. Then your third eye is connected to pineal gland, intuition. So many of you are asking me, how can I know my intuition better? How can I understand better? There's a DMT production over there. You feel altered states. Again, this is going to happen. And the crown chakra, that is connected to your pituitary gland, and it's a higher consciousness and spiritual downloads. So when the nervous system burns out, and this is now what happens a lot here. So when your nervous system burns out, that it cannot handle anymore, the volume of energy what Kundalini brings, it may crash. And then what happens, we call that dark night of the soul, which I spoke about on my previous. We go through such an intense period that you crash finally. But this isn't emotional crash, it's a neurological. And so you feel extreme fatigue, you collapse, depression, dissociation, brain fog, difficulties to speak, you feel numbness, you feel isolation or fear of even others, or you feel that I'm the only one who's going through that, I must be crazy. And this is the freeze response. The parasympathetic system, your nervous system, is trying to shut down things to protect you from the overload. And this is why so many people think that they're going crazy during the Kundalini awakening. But it's not just mental, it's electrical, hormonal, energetical, and ancestral. And you might be processing lifetimes of programming in a single lifetime. And of course, for your twin flame path, your nervous system isn't only yours, it becomes entangled with your counterpart. So you might feel their emotions, their thoughts, bodily sensations. If one twin is in a sympathetic overdrive, the other one maybe unconsciously go into parasympathetic collapse to balance the field. And I say that from my own experience. I know what has happened to my twin. I know what all of this, and it's a very interesting dynamics. And that's why I say you stepping into healing and transformation is essential of that part. And somehow, like, we can say that twin flames are mirrors and they co-regulate each other's nervous system. And the challenge is that if both of you are unregulated or unprepared, the energy creates polarity pain and repulsion rather than union. So we need to get your body under the calmness, under what's happening. And so here I'm just going to bring in a few things that will help you now. Okay, so you are going through a very hard thing. What helps you? Mantra singing. Start your day with mantra. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Very powerful mantra. If you wish me to put some songs, or on my workshops on Patreon, you see a lot of them. Take them and do it. Singing, humming, deep belly breathing helps you tremendously. Breathing helps you tremendously. So try to go into the space of like hum helps you very well. Somatic work. And now that's where comes in what I do. Trauma release exercise. That it's very powerful. It's on workshop. It helps your body to release the stored trauma that you no longer need. I would say Kundalini activation, but with the rest and digest. Meaning of if you're so overactivated, you come to the session and we use the rest and digest, not that activation. Since doing yoga or running or anything you can do that you move your body awareness. Because your body stores the energy, we know that. What can you eat? Magnesium, very powerful. Magnesium helps you tremendously. Also very happy that this year we have a beautiful soul joining us for a retreat, and we have a little goodie bags. So, and there is a magnesium. I take magnesium, omega-3, and I would say eat leafy foods. Eat food that is seasonal, that is there. Don't put more pressure on your nervous system that your body needs to clean it. It's really... actually, the Kundalini will itself cleanse it. It will not accept. You can see that you can try to drink coffee. Your body will not accept it. Alcohol the same way. You feel dizzy, you feel bad, you feel like I'm losing control. Your system will not allow it. Try not to add this in your system. Same with like anything that is artificial. Cold or heat therapy, meaning depending on you. Now it's something very important here, and that's one of the reasons I do what I do as well. Try to connect to the people you can trust and who are calm, who come from the heart space. It's very important. Try not to get lost where someone is fear and trying to feed you more fear of telling you you have this problem, you have this, you have this, you have this, you have this. And your nervous system is just like, I'm going crazy. Try to find a person where you feel that you're connected, you feel calm energy, you feel that there is a trust. It doesn't have to be me, not at all. I am just one of the options, but I believe that your soul knows what it needs and how to connect. And nothing really strong. So like I said, chanting, connecting, allowing yourself. So your nervous system is your sacred conduit for divine energy. And when the Kundalini awakens, it begins to transform the very wiring of your body. And it starts to burn away fear, resistance, identity, and trauma. And so you need to have a moment of grounding, that you take it step by step. So nourishment, grounding, having trust with someone, deep surrender, connecting to it. Without this, you can feel very, very, very much in a place where you're going to lose it all. But then you become clear, and that's the best thing you could ever have it. We're definitely going to go into even more of the details, and if you have any questions about it, what I spoke today, leave it in the comments or send me a message. This was just an overview of what happens in your body, why is it normal, and how it benefits you. I know it doesn't feel like when you go through that, but it is beneficial part of it, and I can't take away from you that. So yes, in the next episodes we will talk about also the Kundalini facilitating energy and doing the Kundalini yoga. What's the difference? What helps? How can you connect better to it if it's so divine and life-changing? So we talk about that. As I said, this is the Kundalini part of it, and it might not resonate with every one of you, and it might not be exactly, understandable for everyone who goes through this intense awakening. But I'm going to just say that if you have felt any of these symptoms, you've been activated with Kundalini. And I also know that you wouldn't listen to this podcast if it wouldn't happen to you. This podcast would have never reached to you, never ever. Because we live in a world where energy matters. And you will hear the words, you will hear the connection that will come to you when you're ready. Your soul puts it on your path, and you don't even know why. Anyways, just to say, on Patreon there are some discounts code available for July to have a session. twinflameawakeningjourney.com, there is more information, and you can book the sessions, you can ask the questions, anything that comes on your mind. Don't be shy, don't feel that you are alone, you're not at all, and just take an action of changing your life today. Don't freeze there. Don't be like me, who froze and got very scared of it. So yeah, twinflameawakeningjourney.com. I'll see you there. And if you have any questions, anything you wish to know, I'm here for that. Lots of love and lots of light.
I see you struggle like butterflies in water. Can't keep moving forward. I see your shoulders weighted down by armor. You don't need that protection. I would walk on glass, I would run 10,000 miles and more.